feels like if you hit really good shots, you're going to have good looks for birdie. If you're just off the fairway within the tree line, it feels like you can kind of have a lot of run-up so you can get up to the green. The greens aren't too bad. They did a good job of the shorter par fours. I feel like the greens are a little more complex than the really long, difficult par fours. Besides number 6, they're pretty benign. So I think it's going to be a good setup for a major this week.
So a win earlier this year and several top tens. How are you feeling about your game coming in?
Yeah, game feels really good. It's nice. I went to Augusta playing really well, and that week prior at home, golf swing got really weird, and it's a bummer to show up at a major and know you're just going to be fighting just to score as best you can, and it's going to be hard to contend. This week, game feels really good. It felt great last week at home, and I played well at the Wells Fargo, so it's nice to be here and feel comfortable and not feel like I'm really changing much or working on too much, just playing some golf.
That's great. Thank you. We'll open up for questions, starting with Jeff.
Do you like this classic Northeast architecture?
I do. I think it's feels like the traditional, kind of like what you picture American golf to be. And I do. I think a golf course like this requires a lot of precision. And when you come play a major, I feel like that's what it should require. You shouldn't be able to get away with too much. It's unique to what we typically, I guess not typically, it's unique to what we play in a way because, these days, although we'll have rough that's long, it usually feels like we can work our way around how difficult it is, especially around the greens. But the type of grass out here is different than pretty much anything I've played on, so it's pretty demanding, and I like that. I mean, if you're going to hit a poor shot, you should have a pretty difficult up and down. So it's nice, but I do like the look. I like how trees kind of frame the tee shots. I like, excuse me, I'm the worst allergies. I like how they kind of trick you with your eyes a little bit. They don't show you a ton of the fairway on a lot of the tee shots, so you have to do a good job in prep. And so I think, again, for a major, this is just like kind of your traditional ideal setup.
And it asks a lot of you across the board, but what's the biggest thing this course demands of a player?
That's a good question. I'm going to say I do think to make birdies out here, you're going to need to be in the fairway. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit similar to like this new major thing, which is essentially if you keep making these courses narrow, long, with really long rough, you're going to miss a lot of the fairways. There's some difficult tee shots out here, and so you're going to have to do a good job of scrambling. Obviously, you're going to have to be good in every area, but I just think that if you're in the fairways, I don't find the second shots to be super demanding. Again, the hard holes, the long par fours, the greens aren't too crazy. So if you get on them, even if you've got 20 or so feet, they're not wild putts. So just to me, it feels like if you're in the fairway, you can feel somewhat comfortable. But again, it's always tricky in practice round days because they put the pins in the middle of the green and you don't get a full taste of it. But so far, that's what it feels like.
Great. Mike, too.
Max, do you want this week to feel different because it is different, or do you want it to be as close to what every other week normally is?
I think you want it to feel like every week normally is until the walk-up on Sunday. So, you try to prep the same way you would normally prep. We have no pro-am tomorrow, so it'll feel a little bit different. You get 3 full days of work. I think internally and in the practice, you try to make it just feel like another golf tournament. But we all know that it's not. It's one of the 4 biggest events of the year and has an unbelievable field and a lot more at stake if you do come out on top. So I think we all know that. But, you do your best. We play a lot of golf throughout the year, so it's kind of nice. You just get kind of going. And I would say Augusta is always the one that feels the most different just because it's Augusta and it's just I don't know. It's got that like special feel to when you're on the grounds. This is unique, the rest of the majors, because you're going to a new venue. So that's always going to be a little bit different. But it's nice because you end up spending so much time learning and kind of diving into, I guess, figuring out the golf course and hitting different shots that you spending more time around the greens than you probably would in a normal week. So you want it to feel a little different because it's a major, but I think you prep like it's a normal event.
At Augusta, you talked about no matter what the result, it doesn't change your identity. Do you verbalize with your team your own expectations of yourself in weeks like this?
No, I would say I have a great little crew around me, and we all know what a good and bad week would be. But I think we also know that, playing poorly at Augusta didn't mean that we had to reinvent the wheel. It's just a bad week. And that if it didn't go the way we wanted to this week, you just keep kind of chipping away. Just kind of keep getting better and wait for when you're feeling good. Like I said before, it was difficult at Augusta because I just wasn't swinging the club well on Monday. And I wasn't swinging the club well the week before. So we kind of knew it was going to be a bit of crisis management when we got there. This week's been a lot more relaxed and fun. And, even like today, my coach Mark was just saying, it was very windy out there today. He said, it looks good, played nicely for 9 holes. He said, let's not overwork this thing. So, they know the expectations, but we don't need to talk about them. You don't need to put more pressure on yourself than necessary.
Great.
Have you treated majors differently in the past? Have you put too much pressure on yourself?
I think I just did it with all golf tournaments. They all felt like the end of the world. So if it didn't go well, they all feel so important. And then you think about a year later and they don't feel as drastically important. So I just think I do that with most tournaments. So I've been doing a better job this year just going and playing golf tournaments.
Can you pinpoint when you transition that? Is it something with working with your mental coach? Or?
Yeah, I guess maybe just a little bit this year. I think as you make a progression in the game, last year, played some really good golf. You start to think, you start to get in that talk of, hey, I haven't had a good track record in majors, so you should play better in majors. And, I had a better year last year, still wasn't great, but I got 13th at the PGA, and it's come here this year, 6th or something in the world, and doesn't play well in majors. But I played one good one, so it just it's kind of irrelevant, So you just. This year I've just been looking at it as like I said, I don't think it's just any other golf tournament, but you still need your game to be there, and you do your best to do that, and then you move on Sunday afternoon.
Alan on 4.
Max, we're coming up on the 1-year anniversary of the first LIV tournament. What do you think professional golf's going to look like a few years down the road?
I'm not sure. There might be a golf ball rollback, I've heard, so that would be different. But as far as the LIV and PGA Tour thing, I'm not sure. I would assume maybe a little bit different than it is now, but I'm not a fortune teller, so I'm going to leave that up to you to guess.
Fair enough.
Microphone 10.
Yeah, the pollen and the wind are making the allergies pretty difficult for a lot of the spectators and the golfers. Is that impacting your game at all? And if so, how is that?
Yeah, I had somebody sneeze in my backswing yesterday. So that was tricky. I don't know. I had a really bad allergies last year in Tulsa. I didn't think I was going to make it. I thought I was going down. It's one of the few downsides of playing golf outside. But I think we'll all be all right. We just have to readjust. This is why there's practice days, so you can make sure you don't feel this way come Thursday.
Any other questions?
You talked about the finish last year was better, right? Did you feel some progress there, something you can carry into as far as momentum is to majors ahead?
No, probably not just based off anything specific last year. But I do know that I'm not really that worried about my golf game not being good enough to play well in majors. So I think that's just a benefit of just playing better in PGA Tour events and having one decent finish in the PGA last year. But yeah, I just think that mentally where I'm at this year is I just understand that if I play well, I'll finish well. Whereas sometimes, especially when you're younger, you come to these big events and you don't know if your great golf game is good enough to compete. I know that it is, which is nice, and I also know that it doesn't need to be perfect, and those are at least comforting things. But yeah, I'm not riding high off momentum from last year, but fortunately that was a long time ago.
5.
Just curious what you think of the golf that Taylor Gooch has been playing.
Yeah, good. 2 wins in the last 3. That's really good. I think he shot 62 or something in Australia, which is quite decent. But yeah, it's awesome. I imagine he's going to keep playing well. He's always been just like a tremendous golfer. He's a world-class ball striker and just a supreme talent. So it's always nice to see those people having success, and it's nice to see him, winning back-to-back is hard. So it's awesome to see him get that done. And you look at a golf course like this and you imagine like this is going to be a really good course for him. You got to hit the ball really well. You need to be precise. So I imagine he's going to play, keep playing great as he has been.
Wait, dude, can I just ask a quick follow on that? I mean, we're still trying to assess what a live victory means in the landscape of things. So, but in your mind, it has meaning and it's impactful when a guy wins over there.
He beat every single person, and he shot 62 in back-to-back rounds. So yes, it's great. I can't tell you to a T how great he's playing, but if anybody told me they shot back-to-back 62s, I'd assume that they feel pretty good about their game. So I would say it's very impressive.
Let's finish up going back to 10, and then Jeff at 2.
So it was your wife's first Mother's Day this Sunday. What does it mean to have your family here this week with you?
It's nice. It's weird. It's you appreciate the sleep you get when you're by yourself, but it's a lot less enjoyable when you wake up. So it's nice to have everybody with me this week. They're at Niagara Falls today, living it up. So I look forward to getting home, and my kid's got a bit of a personality now, so it's nice that he recognizes me when I walk in. So it makes everything a lot more fun. It's hard leaving them at home. So I'm very appreciative that she would use her Mother's Day, or we'll go through her Mother's Day on 2 planes across the country. So my son I don't think he cared. It was just another day of drinking milk and doing whatever he wants. So, but for me, I'm very thankful.
We had Tony in here earlier. He's won 4 times in a really short span. You're used to, now you're building a record of winning and having the momentum and all. As you come and chase a first major, would it change your life that much?
I'm not sure anything could happen at this point that would change my life, but it sure would change my career. I think you win a major and you just get vaulted. That might mean I might look at myself a little bit differently as a golfer, but I like my life. I can't imagine much is going to ever happen that I'm going to all of a sudden say, oh, thank goodness, my life's good now. So I'm pretty lucky and appreciative of everything that I've got going on. And then all the good golf is cherry on top, and a major would be, I'm not sure what's better than a cherry or taller on a Sunday, but it would be awesome. But yeah, I mean, I don't think golf changes our lives, but we do work at something, and it's always nice to see hard work pay off. And I think I'd just be more proud of myself if I could clip off a major. But I'm not going to let that dictate my happiness in my day-to-day life.
That's great. Thanks for the time, Max.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it.
Take care.